guys, well here we are in Fusion 360, and in this week's video we're going to talk about some job shop work. I often get emails from individuals asking if I can machine out a particular part. Although I'd like to take on as much work as possible, I often don't have time to do that sort of thing. However, in this particular case, I thought this was an interesting project. I thought I'd share with you a process that goes into whether or not you really want to take on these jobs. So these particular parts, there's a series of about 5 parts. They're all for some 3D printer parts. This gentleman is building his own 3D printer, and he asked if I could machine these parts. So they're all kind of small parts. This particular piece is a Z-nut mount. I believe it's to hold the ball screw. It's got some adjustable holes here. These egg-shaped holes and slots are for some adjustments, and then a couple of mounting holes here. Now this particular piece is, again, very small, and when considering to do these little projects, some of the few things that I take into consideration are, do I have the time? That's the main thing. The second is, do I have the tooling? Often I get asked to make things that I either don't have the capability of doing, or I feel like it's going to cost too much to buy the tooling versus how much I can charge for the part. In this particular case, I did need to purchase a 3mm end mill to do this project. That's not something I normally use, so I'm going to have to pass that cost on to this individual. However, every piece that he sent me will require this end mill, so you can justify the cost of the tooling. Another thing that you have to consider is it worth your time? Can you charge enough for this to make it worth your time that you're going to have to put in camming this part out and machining this part out? So let's take a look at this part, and I'll show you what we did to cam this out. So again, it's just a small part here. It's about an inch by 7/8 or so, a little bit less. I think the rough stock, let's take a look at that. I'm using 3/8 inch thick material here. The width in the X is 1 1/8 by 7/8 in the Y. So these are really small parts. Now this particular piece, this gentleman wants 2 of. So we've got you can see the model is centered up here. So what we're going to do is flip it over to machine the bottom surface, clean that up. And it gives us material to hold, so that was fairly easy to work out. We've got a facing operation here that's just 2 or 3 passes here to get the material removed. You could probably take it in 1 pass, but again, this is a really small part, so the last thing you want to do is jerk this out of the vise and have to start over. We've got some adaptive here. This is a 1/4 inch end mill. We're running at 5,000 RPMs, 20 inches per minute. I'm only taking 1/1000ths per tooth, so it's really light cuts, again because this part is so small. We're going to leave a little material here on the side and finish that up on a contour pass. Our next operation is to do this center pocket. Again, we're going to be using the same 1/4 inch end mill. These are LumaPower 3-flute end mills. They do a great job, and I really like using those on aluminum. Our next operation is we're going to come back and we're going to use the same 1/4 inch end mill, and we're going to do a contour operation and clean up the outside and the inside of that pocket. And then our last operation is with that 3mm end mill that we spoke about earlier. We're just going to do a zigzag pattern down to the bottom and clean up this little slot for an adjustment. So let's simulate that. Pretty straightforward. It says the machine time is 6 minutes here, so you can see there's not a lot of time involved, but you have your setup time, and then obviously the time it takes for you to cam this machine, set up your tools, so you have that time involved as well that you have to account for pricing out this kind of stuff. That's our first setup for 6 minutes. And then our second setup, we're just flipping this over and machining off the bottom here. That's a couple of minutes. And then our last setup, we're going to bore these holes here. Again, that's a couple of minutes plus your setup time. Alright guys, it's pretty simple. Probably about 10 minutes total machine time, and maybe about another 10 minutes to set this part up. So maybe you have 20 minutes involved, and if you charge, I don't know, $50 to $75 an hour for your shop time, you probably got $35 in this piece right here. He wants 2 pieces, so you can probably take some off for that. You really only have the machine time on the second piece. You don't have any of the time it takes to cam this out, so all those things need to be taken in consideration. But let's go out to the Precision Matthews and we'll machine this piece out. teeny parts. Very nice. We'll flip it over and we'll face off the bottom. Alright, just a little bit of foil left on there. I'll just peel that off and we should be good. Very small part here. It's less than 1 inch by 3/4, so really small part. Well, alright, here's the finished part. You can see they turned out really well. I couldn't find, somehow the video footage of me drilling these holes got misplaced, but these are 3 30-second holes. I just found the center of the part there and ran the G-code. They're about 3/8 inch deep. The pieces turned out really well. As you can see, they're quite small. As I mentioned earlier, it's kind of difficult to price pieces like this. Most of the time you can find some scrap laying around to machine these out of, so there's really not that much cost in the material, but there might be some special tooling that you have to buy. In my case, there was a 3mm end mill to get this slot that I had to purchase. Again, luckily he has like 5 different pieces and they all require this end mill, so it was worth the investment in the tooling. But again, that's an additional cost that's going to have to be passed on. Well, guys, I guess that wraps up this video. In the next video, I'm going to be machining the second part, which is similar to the final 3 pieces. So I'll just do one piece. But it's pretty interesting, and there's some things in there that I think might be beneficial to you, so I would like to pass that information on to you. Guys, thanks for watching my video. Again, if you're new to my channel and you're just tuning in, you can click on this subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Also, click on that notification bell. That way when I post a new video like this one, if it's something that you're interested in, you can stop by and check it out. As always, please feel free to ask questions, make suggestions, or leave comments. Thanks for watching the video. Thumbs up if you like the video. Please subscribe, and most importantly, be safe.